Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am going live for the full moon ritual to Aphrodite. And I see I already have someone who's joined me, Sheena. Welcome, Sheena. And my magical partner is here as well. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the process of calling in Aphrodite. And what I'm going to walk all of you through as I do this is I'm going to walk you through my process of doing spirit work. This is part of what we're going to be exploring in advanced spirit communication. So I'm kind of giving you a little peek behind the curtains. So first thing I want to do is show you here, I've got the Aphrodite statue. I have 2 candles here burning, and I've got my scrying mirror. Okay? What I'm going to do is call in the directions. I'm going to get my drum out and drum in the directions, and then I'm going to get started here. And I've also got these conch shells for the purposes of doing some divinatory reading. Hail to the east, to air, to the spirit of life. Welcome into this space. Hail to the south, to the spirit of fire, spirits of flame. Welcome to this space. Hail to the spirits of the west, the spirits of water, the spirits of love, lust, and passion. Welcome. Hail to the spirits of the north, spirits of destruction and regeneration of the earth, of nature. Hail to the ancestors, the spirits of the underworld and the below. Hail to the spirits of the stellar cosmos, the stars above and the planets, the cosmos. Welcome in. And hail to the center where I call in my beloved, my magical partner. Welcome to this space. And I call myself in. And I call forth to Luna, the full moon, in Leo. I call to the full moon in Leo. Welcome. And I call to the mighty goddess, Aphrodite. Hail to you, Venus Aphrodite. Hail to you, goddess of love, lust, sex, and attraction. Tonight we call to you in the vein of attraction. Hail to you, mighty Aphrodite, goddess of love. Now, I'm going to take a brief pause in this ritual and talk for a moment about what I've done here. I've set up the basics of the space, but I've not just gone in a circular direction, I've also called in a sphere. Now, I do a more elaborate sphere of art ritual, which I did earlier today in preparation for this space. So this is really just calling those energies up again. Now, what I'm going to do is do some scrying around the energy of attraction. I've got my black mirror here, and I've got 2 candles set up. The purpose of this is to get insights from Aphrodite in terms of how best to draw attraction energy, attraction in general, into our lives. And attraction comes in many different forms. Attraction can be someone falling in love with you, but attraction can come in the form of wealth. It can come in the form of someone liking you. It can come in the form of opportunities. And I invite any of you who are here to consider and contemplate how you might draw that energy into your own life. If you're watching this later, the same thing. Now I'm going to show you my setup here. You can see the candles here, and there's the statue of Aphrodite. What you can also see is the black mirror. What I'm doing now is I'm going to position myself so that I can fully look into those candles and use them as a focus. And the goal is ultimately to look past the candles into the mirror and into, through the mirror, the image of the goddess herself. I'm going to position her above here. Hail to you, Aphrodite, goddess of love. And welcome in on this full moon. I call you in to get your aid and help around the energy of attraction. Use the candle flame as the initial focus, but I stare past it into the mirror itself. The candle serves as the focus for the immediate attention and creates fascination with what's in the mirror, allowing the communication with the spirit. I'm going to actually just focus this on the candle. There we go. I'm going to create an optical illusion with this candle where through staring at it, I will create the feeling, the sensation of 2 candles in one. The optical illusion serves to focus the mind and the awareness, creating that sense of fascination. You may find it of interest to stare into the flame yourself. I've done some experiments on Instagram where I use the same kind of thing, and it was interesting to look into the flame just through the Instagram. In this case, we're using Substack, but it's the same thing. What do you see in the depths of the flame? What images, what feelings and sensations, what experiences come? Pay attention to all of them. Every experience while you're in the midst of this fascination is relevant, because it could be the way the spirit is communicating with you. What I see, aside from the candle itself, is an experience of the goddess coming through. Passionate, empowered, water and fire mixing together. There is attraction in everything, and the opposite of attraction is repelling. So if you're in a situation where there is a feeling of being repelled, explore how you can turn that into attraction. If there is a feeling of attraction, you can turn that into repelling. Everything is an equal and opposite effect. Lean into the experience. Now I'm going to call forth. I'm going to use these. These are shells, cowrie shells. I'm going to use them for a form of divination. Hello, Ira. Welcome. All right, there we go, that last one. And the question is, how can we better employ attraction and the power of attraction through the full moon and through Aphrodite, but also through our own selves? How can we basically tap into this power? Now we have a pattern here. You can hopefully see that. Make sure the shells give out a kind of pattern, and with the pattern, what we're really looking at kind of is an overall experience that kind of tells us how to draw attraction into our lives. So when I do a reading of these cowrie shells, I'm going to look at how they're positioned. In this particular case, I've got some that are positioned with it face down and a bit face and one face up. I'm going to switch the camera angle here carefully so you can see right here. So I've got some that are face down and some that are face up. And there's also the particular pattern plays a role in the overall experience of the reading. This is our first one down here. We've got 3 in the line, and then we've got 1 face up. What this kind of tells us is to be open to new love. This is kind of the form of the way that attraction takes. Now you might ask, how do I know this? And part of it is that we've got these 3 down, and then we've got this one here. So that in and of itself is a pattern that we use, and then the actual shape. In this case, this is telling us to be open to new love. In the case of attraction, what we're really talking about here is how to basically be open to the newness of attraction itself in all of its forms. Welcome, Mitch. Glad to have you here. Thank you for joining. We have up here another pattern, but in this case, it's more or less kind of a diamond. And then with that diamond, what we're really looking at here, it's kind of similar to the other one, but we're going to go with this one being the first one to be read, and then kind of going through the other 3. This is letting go of old patterns, letting go of what doesn't work. So, if we have old patterns around attraction, we need to be willing to let those go. This is our future. So we have 3 that are up, and then we have 1 that's down. And when we look at the future, we're looking at it from the perspective of how do we fully align ourselves to the power of attraction, opening ourselves up to it. So this is kind of the question and the crux of the matter. Like, attraction is something that we have to necessarily align ourselves to. This goes back to what Aphrodite shared in the scrying around paying attention to that sensation and that experience of attraction and repulsion. So look at your relationship with being repelling something, and consider that is the opposite of attraction. It's still a form of attraction. It's just pushing away. Finally, we have these 2 down and the 2 up here. And what this tells us is that this power of attraction can be harnessed and focused in specific ways. In this case, I'm looking at it in terms of wealth magic, because I found that attraction as a form of wealth magic can be really useful. The reminder here is to do all of this in moderation. Don't go too overboard with something. Like, know when to use it and when not to use it. Now, how I know this in regards to patterns is I have an oracle book that I've used, but in this case, I kind of I've worked with it enough that I can get a pretty good idea of what the shells are. So I'm going to flip the camera angle back. There we go. Hi again. And at this point in time, if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in. I will glance over here. I'm going to continue to go back into the scrying, but I will pay attention and check over. Hail to you, Aphrodite, patron goddess of love, patron goddess of this house, the magic house. You guide me in the mysteries of love, lust, and attraction. I give praise to you, mighty goddess Aphrodite. As your priest, I give praise to you. And look into the candle again. And the focus here, again, with the candle is creating that optical illusion. So although there's only 1 candle, what I'm doing is I'm looking at it in a way where it actually ends up creating 2. And this creates then a sensation of of cognitive dissonance, which is actually really useful for this kind of work because you're not, there's only one there, but your mind is playing tricks on you. And that actually helps with creating more of the atmosphere for the ritual space. Aphrodite, Aphrodite, goddess of love, Aphrodite, I welcome you into this space even further. Give thanks for your divinatory oracle reading. How else might we channel the experience of love, of lust, of attraction into our lives? Self-care is the key, the beginning, the root. Self-respect, self-love, self-trust. Everything begins there. Power starts from within. And the more you surrender to that, the more you connect with Source. Now what I'm doing is drawing in that energy a bit further. I incidentally normally don't do explanations of rituals, but I'm doing it in this case because I'm kind of doing this live focus, and I thought it would be interesting to explain kind of what I'm doing and why. We are, look here, we've got the, there we go, we got the candle, we've got the mirror, we've got the conch shell. And actually this is kind of interesting because right now we've got the mirror mirroring the live stack, which in and of itself can become a form of scrying. So you're getting a chance to look into this, and at the same time I'm using it as an opportunity to do some scrying work using modern technology. We're going to close up the space now. I got the answers I was looking for. In this case, this is really using the generative power of the full moon to draw some attraction into some attraction energy and a relationship with the power of attraction further into my life. But it's also an opportunity to connect with Aphrodite and honor and venerate her. I give thanks to Aphrodite, goddess of love, lust, and attraction. And thanks to the full moon, to Luna. Hail and thank you for being here in this space and sharing this energy with not just myself and my magical partner, but with these three people who also visited. Hail, hail, hail. And I give thanks to the directions, to the stellar cosmos, to the underworld, to the center, to the north, to the west, to the south, to the east, and all the spirits contained there, and to my beloved, my magical partner, who is also holding this space, and to those of you who attended live, and those of you who watched later. I give thanks for coming into this ritual space. And we release this energy, we release this presence, we release all of these beings to go on their way and do as they will, as they must. They are welcome to be here with us if they choose to be, or to go on their way. And we give thanks to all of those who participate in whatever form they do in this ritual. And we give thanks to Leo, the astrological sign this full moon is in. Hail, welcome, and depart. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you being here, and this was a fun opportunity to do a full moon ritual and do some spirit work. And if you're interested in exploring more of my approach to spirit work, check out my upcoming class, Advanced Spirit Communication, which I will have details in the post below. Thank you all, and take care. Have a great evening. Happy full moon.